This will be a video on checking the condition of your timing chain. It's good to check your chain every once in a while, maybe once a year, to see how much tension your timing chain tensioner has left on it. Because if you neglect it and you run out of tension on your tensioner, the chain will become sloppy. It can jump a tooth and cause valves to run into pistons, and you end up with bent valves or broken off valves. Tears up the cylinder, tears up the piston, tears up the head, which makes a lot of times an engine too costly to repair. This type here, there's different types. This type here has a screw right here, which on this engine you have to remove the starter in order to get to it. Best to just crack this one loose before you go taking it off. And then, and you want to make sure your bike is in like neutral before you take this tensioner off. And do not turn over the engine. You don't want to jar the bike a whole lot so that your chain doesn't jump a tooth. But remove these screws, the upper and lower screws. And when this is an auto tensioner, so as the chain wears, it has sprags on it that that it can't go back the other direction once it goes back. It sets itself out so far. But you pull this off, and then it'll automatically spring-loaded click out to the furthest sprag, and then you go to stick it back on there, and you'll have a gap between here, and that'll tell you how much tension you have left, or if any. Sorry about it shaking so bad. It's cold out here. If you have no tension left, it would be good just to leave it sit and work on getting another chain to put on there, because bad things will happen eventually. Now to reset this, this is where it gets into kind of different types. There's this type here. You take this screw off right here, and there'll be a little flathead connection down the side. You put a little flathead screwdriver in it, and it'll turn backwards and pull that piston back in. And then you put the screws back in, release, pull the flathead screwdriver out, and it'll release back out. Oh man, it's cold. The different types is some of them you have to actually manually check every once in a while. You'll have a set nut and a nut out here. You break that nut loose and you check it by turning it in just by hand tightening it, and then you reset the nut tight again. Pretty much once you'd run out of screw, that's when you need a new chain. This type here, you pretty much have to take this off, try to put it back in. If it just goes right back up against the surface, the chain is junk. Other types, instead of having the screw down in the center, would be some of them you'd have to turn the pistons on one side and push it back in, and then you turn it back to the right side again, and there's a set nut in the side that'll lock it down while you reassemble it, and then you can break that nut loose, and the little piston will go out. Sorry for all the shakiness. I hate cold. Alright, thanks for watching.